kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Welcome, everybody. Dave, welcome to the broadcast booth. Tonight, we're in Atlanta as we go 105 laps here with the Racers Elite Truck Series. I'm Alan Bergen, just south of St. Louis in the Shoney Trapasso Memorial Studio. And Dave, we don't normally get to work together, but
welcome to the Racers Elite Truck Series. I'm your host, Dave Regal, alongside my partner in crime, Mr. Alan Bergen, and we're excited to bring you all the action from tonight's race at Atlanta Motor Speedway. The Truck Series is the third highest level of NASCAR competition behind the Cup Series and the Xfinity Series, but don't let that fool you. These drivers are just as talented and determined as their Cup Series counterparts, and they're always putting on a great show. Tonight we have a full field of drivers vying for the checkered flag, and among them are the biggest names in our sport, including last week's winner Jackson Franklin, who brought home victory at Eldora. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the race, because we'll be with you every step of the way. From the green flag to the checkered flag, right here on Sim Racing Media. And Alan, I do apologize for the rumble, stumble, fumble routine coming out of the gate, but it wouldn't be a broadcast with me not in my natural habitat without that.
That's all right, buddy. Hey, look, I'm geared up for Atlanta, and it's a rarity that me and you get to work together. That's not on a Sunday night, but on a Tuesday night and in the Truck Series. So, my favorite day of the week, Tuesday, and it's essentially my Monday today, as I was in Chicago yesterday and drove home, or Sunday and drove home Sunday night, and what a spectacular race we're going to have here tonight.
Yeah, it was impressive, to see everything that went on over the weekend. Of course, in the real world, of course, with the Olympics and everything, which puts the regular NASCAR schedule on hold. But here in the Racers Elite Truck Series, we don't have any days off. It's almost like Coach Belichick himself came out and said, no days off.
No days off. You're absolutely correct, Dave. But hey, look, I'm ready to get down to the track and check out the qualifying times that are going on right now, as Kyle Westwood has put his truck on the pole here tonight. And there's 19 trucks signed in here tonight to do battle here at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Yeah, and for those of you that hang out with me on a Thursday night, you're going to see some of those same names that we have in the Cup Series. Of course, the Teft brothers out of Hope Valley, Rhode Island. And then, of course, we also see Troy Thomas, Dennis Kane, and the like. These drivers are the ones that we're going to be watching. And, of course, we see our teammate from Sim Racing Media, Matt Metler, in the 311 tonight as well.
Yeah, he's actually made the field, and right now, since he hasn't taken a qualifying lap, as 10 drivers have. So without further ado, let's see what some of these guys are up to. As that's got to come back. Live timing does a kerfluffle where it likes to blend in the numbers and names. There we go.
As we take a look here at Blair Holloman right now, in the middle of his second lap, he went 11th fastest the first time we saw him riding the high line. He now starts to hug that red and white line, and as he crosses the start-finish line, Holloman going to go from 11th.
11th to 3rd is where he's going to go.
Oddly enough, I have 4th.
Okay, yeah, 11th to 4th. But as we check out some other drivers taking their qualifying lap, here we got Lee Campbell in that number 14 Goodyear Chevy Silverado. And right now he's timed in at 11th quickest with a 31.72. And Dave, it's going to take a lot of patience to get around this racetrack. You're going to have a lot of drafting going on. You're definitely going to have to pick your friends.
Better you pick your friends rather than pick your nose. As we take a look here, coming down the front stretch, there's Andrew. These drivers have worked all year long, and I mean, now as Teft comes off, it looks like he's going to go 9th fastest on the board.
Yeah, 9th quickest, and we're about 3 minutes away from wrapping up qualifying. But the other half of the Teft brothers, they're Alex Teft there in that number 43 Home Depot Toyota, and this is one of those trucks that's he doesn't qualify real well, but he's always there at the end.
And, being there at the end is the most important thing in this sport. I mean, we've seen, especially in this league with a fan. I see something is timing out. Well, isn't this an interesting control development?
wonder what it could be.
Gremlins.
Always gremlins.
That means yours truly is going to have a hot mic all evening. I'll apologize in advance for thoughts that I have that escape my head.
That's all right.
As we see Alex Teft now bringing it to a rest here, it looks like he's going to go third fastest. His brother, of course, back now sits in 10th position. Just a few drivers yet to go out and qualify as now Dennis Kane here in that four-banger in that F-150 now gets ready to roll off of pit road.
Well, he's waiting for the flagman to give him the okay to go ahead and drive off pit road, as he hasn't done anything yet.
Nothing like over-promising and under-delivering here early on in the evening. Want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight here on the YouTube.com live chat. Make sure that you subscribe and turn on those bell notifications here on Sim Racing Media. We're thankful for all of you who tune in and make us a part of your evening. Thank you for welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. As Alan and I are going to be bringing you all of the action tonight from here at Atlanta. You know, it's been an interesting season so far this year, and, you know, I talked about it in our open, and Jackson Franklin brought home the checkered flag last week at Eldora. As we take a quick peek here at our standings, Blair Holloman right now in the Truck Series leads the way with 3 wins. Andrew Teft is sitting in P2 right now. Alex Teft, though, he's got a pair of wins. I'm sorry, Kensley Smith, he sits P3 right now behind Andrew Teft, our big mover of the week. Right now, you can see him here on your screen is Rowan Lloyd. I don't think that is qualifying results, not our points. But Rowan Lloyd jumped up from 12th into 8th position now in points as we take a quick peek here at our starting lineup. Kyle Westwood looks like he's going to be awarded the pole position this evening as we're waiting for him to hop in the old Toyota Tundra. 3 Toyotas going to lead us to green tonight.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too. And, you know, we're going to use a big word called cooperation.
Yeah, nothing like a guy from St. Louis to invent language.
DW invented that one, buddy.
Look, I'm just saying, well, okay, fine, great, Kentucky. Kyle Westwood going to sit on our pole position, get up that bottom third driver info. There it is out of Kutztown, Pennsylvania. He's going to be here on the pole position. He'll be joined on the front row by Sean Merriman from Winchester, Virginia, while Alex Teft and Brandon Sanfilippo going to hold things down here in row number 2. Blair Holloman and Kirby Wainscott going to be in row 3. Middletown, Pennsylvania, another Pennsylvanian here tonight as Tarboro, North Carolina's Kensley Smith is going to sit alongside of Philip Archibald in row number 4. Of course, one of our neighbors from the north there in Archibald. Truth Hoke from Hickory, North Carolina, has the double nickel sitting on the inside of row number 5 with Andrew Teft here on the outside, the other half of Hope Valley, Rhode Island's favorite sons. Jesse Fox is going to sit on the inside of row number 6 out of Jasper, Indiana. And if you want to steal his if you want to steal his identity, there's his date of birth. Gettysburg, Pennsylvania gets to send us Tyler Smith. That's the 3rd Pennsylvanian in tonight's field, while Lee Campbell and Sean Dunaway going to hold things here in row number 7. Row 8 features Troy Thomas out of Boone, North Carolina, and Kyle Hess in the 68 from Memphis, Tennessee. Trevor Woodward going to be starting in 17th on the inside of row number 9, alongside of Rob Yost Jr. from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, also representing the 717. Dennis Kane and Rowan Lloyd going to be here in row number 10 and starting shotgun on the... Never mind, he's not starting shotgun. He's starting nowhere tonight. There's Rowan Lloyd. He will be starting shotgun tonight. As you get back to him there, we now look down to Kyle Westwood out of Kutztown, Pennsylvania, representing the 610. And I'll tell you what right now, that's who I'm going to put my money on. He's a fellow Berks Countian, of which I was born, so I'm excited to see what Westwood is able to put together here tonight. Sean Merriman going to lead these 20 cars to the green flag behind the iRacing.com pace truck.
I tell you what, Dave, I'm excited, and once we go green here, these guys are going to be on the north side of crazy here on the opening laps.
That's fairly accurate as we get ready to rock and roll. We see Kyle Westwood here on the inside, having that number 3 Toyota Tundra. This is just a weird conglomeration. We've got, it's the number 3 on a Lowe's paint scheme driven on a Toyota chassis. I think I smell burnt toast. That may be a stroke forming. As Kyle Westwood watches the iRacing.com pace car dip on down pit road, the only thing that's left to do is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. We're here in Atlanta, so Grandma, grab a Coca-Cola and settle in. Race fans, it's showtime! A good start underway for these drivers as Kyle Westwood already opening up more than a tenth of a second over top of Sean Merriman.
Yeah, and Dave, as we come out to the live picture here, the wider picture here, Sean Merriman's riding it on that outside line there in that third position rather, and the outside line is going to really start getting moving here pretty quickly, and it's going to be a battle of who's going to be your friend early on, and you don't want to rock the boat and hang someone else dry.
Well, and a traditional super speedways, of course, like your Daytonas and Talladegas, that top line becomes the feeder line. You can get a lot of speed and start to work together here on the high side. The interesting thing to watch is, do you bring along your drafting partner? More often than not, you see somebody get pushed along here, as we do see Westwood getting pushed around by Merriman right now. And the question becomes, once Westwood clears Alex Teft here in the 43, does he drop down in front of him, or does he wait until Merriman comes along and can, help him there? Because to me, it's just plain old rude. Somebody helps you get up there to the lead, and all of a sudden you drop them like a bad habit.
Well, as you say that, right now Andrew Teft sits in 10th position with the fastest lap of the race. As I say that, Robert Yost hits the fastest lap of the race.
A lot of these drivers that are laying fast laps will not be the leader. Of course, most of them are using the draft right now, as we see Rob Yost here in that 00. He's got a lot of ground to make up between himself and the 6 of Trevor Woodward. Now, as he starts to draft up to the rear end of Trevor Woodward, as we go on board here with Yost, we're going to start to see him closing that gap ever so gently, go to the nose cam, and we're going to start to see that speed increase as he starts to get ever closer to the rear end of that Budweiser Chevrolet Silverado.
Speaking of Budweiser,
we do have a bet to settle when SNN comes back, and actually when SNN comes back, we've got a surprise coming. Folks, listen, we've got all kinds of things going on at Sim Racing Media, but right now I'm watching Rob Yost as he's starting to now decide that he wants to take this low line. Now watch, he's going to start to draft up to the rear here of the 4. That's going to be Dennis Kane. As he closes that gap, he's now moving faster than Trevor Woodward on the high side. So all of a sudden, we're going to see his lap time drop down. Now, his last lap was a 30:59. Let's see what he does as Andrew Teft lays 30.32 down on lap number 5. And as we finish lap 6, let's see what Yost does here as he went from 30:59 to the exact same time. I lie. 30:46. So that time was faster as he was starting to close the gap on Kane.
Yeah, and it's almost like he's grabbing just enough of the draft to kind of help push him along as we're gonna come back out to the wider picture here, and you can see these guys are 3, 4, 2, 3 wide almost here, especially in the front. At the 6th position where you got Andrew Teft.
Taking a look at Andrew Teft right now out of Hope Valley, Rhode Island, he laid down fastest lap time of the race so far at 30.32. His last lap was a 30.85. Now we can see where the 98 is right now, and he currently holds the low line. And as he starts to work down there, he's kind of in a good spot right now. He's just ahead of He's just ahead of Sanfilippo and Kensley Smith in the 15. And if anything breaks out behind him, he shouldn't get clipped too much, if at all. As Sanfilippo now rides the high side. He's got the 14 of Lee Campbell just behind him. And ahead of him, he's got the double nickel of Truth Hoke in the 55. The interesting thing to watch here is that, God forbid somebody makes a mistake, he's got some reaction time there to get out of the way and try to keep that 98 clean.
Yeah, and to your point, also, you see that low line is starting to get a little weeble wobbles there, and that's going to allow that outside to gain momentum and start working their way back up to the front. Now, if you notice, as Truth Hoke's going to bail out, one of it's about Truth, he's battling an injury right now. He had a procedure done, and so he's been essentially starting the parking.
Well, Weebles may wobble, but they don't fall down, that's for sure. But to your point, that top line definitely starts to run a lot straighter than the low line. The low line is loose and fast, and don't get me wrong, loose is fast, and that's good. But at a place like this, you don't want to be all over the racetrack. You want to be able to keep it in a nice, tight formation. Kind of like, 1933 in Germany. March in a straight line, do not blink, do not dance. Just make sure you keep going the same direction as everybody else.
Well, right now, as you say that, Matt Mettler has joined the field, kind of like Johnny come lately, and he's going to wisely get out of the way as Alex Tepps is going to put him one lap down. And
obviously, he had to go unzip the fire suit and hit the head before he got onto the racetrack.
You're not wrong.
Never am.
You're definitely not wrong. And so right now your running order is Alex Tepps is leading this race, and Blair Holloman is running second, and Andrew Tepps. So your usual suspects are up there in the front, and Troy Thomas has worked his way up to seventh. Now on Thursday night, Dave, we're going street racing with Racers Elite at Detroit. So that one's going to be fun for you.
Oh, happy day. You know how I feel about road courses, and then we turn it into a street course. And to go to Detroit on the road, Detroit on the Grand Prix, you pretty much have to wear a bulletproof vest to get out of that town. I hope everybody has a nice laminated visor in case something should rip through the car netting. Taking a look here at Troy Thomas as he leads the 99 of Philip Archibald, our neighbor from the north, in the Jessel Toyota Tundra. Wow, all of a sudden I can talk real good. We see that neon green Budweiser number 8 working the high side, nearly kissing the wall, and he does. That's going to allow Archibald to close in the gap behind him as they start to fall off from the 18, if we can go up there, of Sean Merriman. Merriman now the third car here in the top line as he trails the 3 of Kyle Westwood and our race leader, Blair Holloman.
Yeah, and there's the eyeball test that, we're going to show right there, Dave, is he's going to come in there and get a little bit of draft, but not so close that he can't bump draft. Oh, boy. And
he's going to be holding. Go ahead.
Right now is we're going to bring up the weather real quickly. So we got a 99-degree track temperature with under a cloudy sky and a 65% humidity, and we got a 75-degree day. So, outside of the track temperature being hot as the stove, it's a Chamber of Commerce type of day.
It is, and the thing is, now we literally, right before our eyes, dropped down to 98 degrees. Once you get below that 100-degree mark, that's kind of the witching hour for these racetracks. That's when we start to see a lot of the grip build up in that asphalt. And once we can rubber up this track, we're going to see some even faster times. So the times are going to get short, so are the tempers as we work lap number 17 of 105. Dave Regal and Alan Bergen with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. We're riding along right now with Sean Merriman in the 18 as we widen things back out. We see race leader Blair Holloman right now being the Pied Piper of Atlanta.
Yeah, Pied Piper, the guy to beat, the guy that's the Grand Poobah. But here comes Kyle Westwood in that number 3 truck, just on the outside, holding his own. And Blair Holloman, Dave, has been the guy. He's been the guy in this series that everybody's trying to beat. And right now, if Alex Tepps can get up there, he's got a pretty good shot.
As we watch them slip sliding around the racetrack here on the asphalt, all of a sudden we see Kensley Smith in the number 15 Napa machine now drafting just behind Sean Merriman in the 18. They're starting to put a little bit of a gap between themselves, Teft, and our race leader Holloman. And that gap is going to have to get closed up. Otherwise, we're suddenly going to watch Holloman and Teft get passed like a freight train on by as we work lap number 19 of 105.
Yeah, these guys have really got to start working together here. Like that outside line starting to form up and gain momentum as Sean Merriman is leading the outside line with Kinsley Smith. And, you know, I've been on the track with Kinsley, Dave. He is one heck of a drafter. He can draft. He's smart. He's a good speedway racer.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, in the truck series, we do see a lot more drafting because these trucks have a lot of ability to do that. And that nice smooth deck lid would be where a pickup truck's, you know, bed is, that all of a sudden makes almost the perfect draft to get inside of. The question is, how do you get in there? Is all of a sudden Sean Merriman now gets shoveled to the front of the pack, and now he is going to be pushed along by Kinsley Smith. All of a sudden, it's almost like Blair Holloman wanted to back out, and now he's got help in the form of Alex Teft, and Alex Teft is going to kind of use Blair Holloman as a fuel pig now, which is the same thing that Kinsley is doing with Merriman. And, you know, if there's somebody who I'm going to put the smart money on, it's Kinsley Smith. I've watched him in the Cup Series, you know, for week after week after week over the last 2 seasons, and this is one of those guys that knows how to use you up and leave just enough for himself to get to the end.
Man, does he ever. He, you know, and you can never say enough about Kinsley Smith and how smart he is on the racetrack. He's got that racer knowledge. He's got that track awareness that a lot of drivers take, you know, almost years to develop. And it's like he uses the truck series to hone his racecraft.
Well, and you know, one of the things that I've always noticed here in this league is that everybody's got a binder basically for every race and for every track. And, you know, to me, I feel like Kinsley Smith was an ultimate note taker in school.
Yeah. I was not, but
they hadn't put it in Braille so you could get the feel of it. Let's be real.
Well, to your point about the Braille, you know, I may or may not have fell asleep watching a race, you know, on flow racing, and I may or may not have ever fallen asleep taking notes in English class. Break out the projector and
it shows. Folks, what he's doing, let's peel back the curtain a little bit. We were watching a race together on Flow Racing here on our Discord channel. Not that we were stealing an internet feed or anything, or doing anything possibly slightly illegal by the FCC's rules, but I look up at the webcam, and there is your beloved broadcaster and racer, Alan Bergen, just a full-on sleeping, and I couldn't resist, and that will be the SRM Christmas card cover for this year.
okay.
I just looked over here at I am one handsome son of a gun right now. I'm telling you right now. We've got the best looking and the best sounding broadcast team in the league.
We do.
I mean, if you'd just be quiet, we would, but you know. As we work lap number 26, Sean Merriman shoveled back out to the front by Kinsley Smith. We watch here on the low side, Blair Holloman looking for a bump here, perhaps from Alex Teft, as now the Teft brothers are going to be running 5 and 6 on the racetrack right now. All of a sudden, they're side by side, and I'm telling you right now, I've seen this enough time from these two guys. They will form a wall that is suddenly 6 cars wide out of a 2-car match.
Blair Holloman looking for a bump and not the one on the street corner. As Kinsley Smith goes to the inside, he's going to grab that draft from Blair Holloman, and Blair Holloman is going to shove Kinsley Smith to the front.
As I wet my whistle from the beautiful amber liquid from Pottsville, Pennsylvania, Kinsley Smith takes over the lead and goes side by side now with Sean Merriman as they're going to be exchanging blows here on lap number 27. We're now past that quarter mark, and all of a sudden it seems like some of these drivers are getting ready to get the pitchforks and torches out early. Now the question becomes, with 105 laps and the tire limit that we have in this league, do you try to stay out the whole run, or do you come down for grip early? I mean, you know, on this new repave, everybody's got 27 laps on that first set of tires. The question becomes, who blinks and when do they do it?
I'm gonna blink as soon as I possibly can.
Yeah, we know.
But look, Every time I try to figure out this league's fuel strategy, Dave, I zig and they zag.
Yeah, I've heard that about you a time or two.
I mean, look, nothing will get you to short circuit like, one, bump drafting at a road course or side drafting, and two, me staying out on caution flag.
Yeah, not everybody's making smart decisions on the racetrack, that's for sure. You and, of course, the great Alexander Gangler, who is a race controller extraordinaire, just doesn't see it. Neither of you can seem to really put that all together.
Look, I grew up under a lead smeltering tower. What's Alexander Gangler's excuse?
He's from Big Rock, Illinois. He doesn't know what it's like to have running water.
Oh, jeez. Goodness. Right now, lap 31, Sean Merriman and Kinsley Smith continue to lead the way as we go a little deeper in the field. And there is the 43 of Alex Tuft running side by side with his brother. Now, Dave, we've seen this enough in this league, too, that if you get Andrew and Alex hooked up, it's almost like watching Tony Stewart and Dale Jr. draft. It's almost beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, when you watch these two guys, first of all, they're incredible race fans, and it's great to watch them work. The other thing is, toward the end of this race, Alex Teft has the shorter fuse.
I haven't had the pleasure of getting the chrome horn from Alex, but I did get it from Andrew at Darlington last season.
And you deserved it. You were in the way.
I told Andrew, too. I said, look, I'm a rolling roadblock. Just push me out of the way. Right now, everybody has single filed out. There's still a couple trucks left on the outside. As Troy Thomas is still on the outside. Dave's favorite truck there, the Bud White truck, he's moved to the inside. Truce Hoke is on the outside, and Rowan Lloyd from Hudson, Illinois, he's on the outside also. So these guys are going to start getting single filed out here in a few, and as we get ready to go green flag pit stops.
Yeah, as we see everybody getting ready to come down pit road, what that's going to do is take some of these drivers and wind up having to make them, find another time to come in. And we may see that because right now, these guys on the high line, they can't get down there. We even look back here to the finger lick. He's holding something off for the end.
Yeah, and I love some KFC chicken strips too.
I'm watching my chat here on Discord, and either I'm not mashing this button hard enough, or I've really worn this top button clear through.
I'll go with the latter.
I do love me some Stream Deck action, but good Lord. It's really making it tough to call this race.
Well, right now, as we've already got some drivers hitting the apron, and these guys have to go down on turn number 3, and we got Kinsley Smith coming in the pits, Sean Merriman, Blair Holloman, and a host of others. So that's going to turn the race lead over to Troy Thomas and Andrew Tuft.
We take a look here at Kinsley Smith in the number 15 as he's going to come down pit road after qualifying in P7th. He's going to lead the parade down. He now hits the pit box. Obviously, we're going to see him take 4 tires and a tank of Go Fast here. And that Go-Go Juice, as they fill up the number 15, is going to take just about 13 seconds to finish things out. Troy Thomas now leads the next group of trucks in. Whoa, easy there, big fella, as he's got to get that Silverado woed down here to pit road speed. The interesting thing to watch now moving forward is what do these drivers do, as far as their next pit cycle? Do they try this again, or, do they try something different? Furthermore, we always have the cold tire bug lurking in the shadows.
Yeah, right now you got Kinsley Smith coming off pit road. He's going to lead the parade. And Matt Metler is somehow running 14th.
Matt Metler gets the lap back the old-fashioned way as he runs to 14th position, and that may be what he's trying to get after here. The interesting thing is going to be, for the time being, does he try to come in now and get on that pit cycle, or does he stay out here? If he stays out, he's looking at a whole bunch of fresh tires all in a row, and there he is, down onto the apron.
And here comes Kinsley Smith here and coming out of 4, and he's got Sean Raymond, Papa Sean, in tow. And Sabrina is said he sounds like Seth Rogen. Okay.
Obviously, she doesn't know the shtick. Tune on in to, you know who Seth Rogen is. Are you aware of the man?
I am.
Just making sure that you've recently looked at a newspaper.
I'm quite familiar with Seth Rogen.
Tyler Smith saying, bring him on, as Sabrina says that he sounds like Seth Rogen. That must be me, I'm assuming.
I would assume.
Then
right.
Jesse Fox saying that he apologizes for that daily. Thanks for broadcasting this from Tyler Smith. We do thank you for the kind words. Shirley Dawson cheering on Kinsley Smith, and Stephanie Fox cheering on Jesse Fox, as we see Jesse Fox right now running, let's just see here, down in 18th position, but he's not going to be there long as Dennis Kane lays fast time down at 29.92.
Dennis Kane's hauling the mail, but you got, as the folks at home understand, these guys are on fresh tires. As Truce Hoke gets all kinds of out of shape, and he's going to keep the truck underneath them.
That's those cold tires until they come up to good temperature, which takes about 3 to 5 laps. You kind of are on ice skates out there, and these tires on the trucks have that tendency. As Kirby Wainscott takes the finger-licking good number 10 to 29.6 seconds even for the fastest lap of the race. When you come out there, those tires are all kinds of slick because they're cold and they really haven't picked up a whole lot of grip and stuff off of the racetrack. And then once they hit that prime temperature, all of a sudden they're laying grip into the asphalt.
Yeah, no surprise here, but we've run 42 green flag laps here out of 105, knocking on wood right now. As Blair Holloman finds himself in that 8th position in the 32 truck. If you drive anything with the 32 on it, this week has got to be your week.
That's for sure. It's always nice when you have success in the real world and then, of course, success here in the sim world. And, we've had the opportunity, at least in Sunday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series action, which is off this week, to talk about some of the things that can translate from the sim into the real world and vice versa, as Parker Retzloff has been on a tear right now on Monday nights.
Yeah, Monday nights is like Monday Night Parker.
Yeah, right now that young man has 6 wins in a row, 7 on the season.
So, talking off air, we was talking about the World of Outlaws Case Construction late models, even though we're watching a truck race. And Dave, I got to tell you, Bobby Pierce, a smooth operator from Oakwood, Illinois, started 24th on the field last Saturday at the Prairie Dirt Classic. Drives up to 4th in 60 laps. Gets caught up with Tim McCready in the Rocket 1 house car. Gets relegated back to 19th and then comes back and wins it.
You see, that's an aspect of racing that I'm not as familiar with as I should be. Dirt track racing. I'm always fascinated by how quick some of those guys get around the oval on such loose dirt sometimes. You and I need to really spend some time together learning dirt, or at least I need to spend some time with you learning dirt.
Well, come to the Midwest and you'll get your taste of it. As
I don't want to.
Here in the St. Louis area, we have some of the best dirt racers in the nation.
I don't want to. They drink Anheuser-Busch out there. That's not my people.
Look, we have Yingling in St. Louis. I was
It's
able to
not the
find it.
same. It's brewed in Tampa.
Okay, well, right now, Kinsley Smith and Sean Merriman, no surprise here, are leading this piece, and he got Dennis Kane up there. And I tell you what, Dave, Dennis Kane is a strategist, as he is almost like a tiger lurking in the background. And when he pounces hard.
Yeah, and I mean, as I said earlier, Dennis Kane is a lot like Kensley Smith. And look, I talked about it earlier, and here's Kensley Smith now leading in that DEI throwback paint scheme here, that Chevrolet Silverado, leading the way here ahead of Sean Merriman and Brandon Sanfilippo. Now, Sanfilippo here in the 12 is giving a good shove, but right now, Sean Merriman gets shoved to the front. It looks like they're going to be exchanging the lead for the next few laps as we work lap number 45 of 105, nearly halfway through.
Yeah, and, no surprise. And the out-of-bounds rule is definitely in effect tonight. Can't go below the red line. If you do, it's out of bounds. Now, you can go to bail out of line, but you cannot advance your position. Truce Hoke overcoming injury, as he had a procedure done 2 weeks ago. Still on the mend, but still gets in the truck and still making it happen. And, he's been pretty sore the last couple of nights that he's been in the race car. And, if he if he puts together a good run, I think that's going to be the best medicine for Truth.
Watching right now, Kensley Smith leads the way ahead of Sean Merriman. Truth Hoke now sitting in P3. Brandon Sanfilippo and Lee Campbell round up. Never mind, just kidding. Kyle Westwood rounding out your top 5. Nope, it's Lee Campbell. Watch him shuffle as all of a sudden it's like being at Bally's in Atlantic City.
They have a Bally's in Atlantic City?
Yeah, it's wonderful. They have a rooftop pool and spa.
I've never been. If I've never been there, it doesn't exist.
Look, Atlantic City is a wonderful place here, and for a long time we've spent, at least crumbing Atlantic City to some degree, but it has definitely come back over the years and cleaned itself up. As suddenly we go 3 wide. Watch the double nickel of Truth Hoke work the high side.
Yeah, and that's amazing. As we're 3 wide, here comes Sean Merriman on the bottom. Kinsley Smith is the meat in the sandwich. And, Truth Hoke trying to get that number 55 Outsiders Toyota or Chevy Silverado.
Here they go. There it goes. There it is. And they're going to take the leaders out. All of a sudden, that puts the 55 to the high side. We stay green flag racing. Never mind, just kidding, as Kensley Smith turns and brings out the caution.
Oh, no. Here,
let's take a look at this replay, and all of a sudden we can see the double nickel hook the 15. We saw that starting to develop as all of a sudden the 15, you never want to be the guy on the radio whose spotter says 3 wide, you're the meat.
That is, oh man, what a tough break, for Kinsley Smith. Wow, Dave, I can't talk either today.
Well, the interesting thing that we're going to pick up here is that they do have those fast repairs in their pocket. We're obviously going to see those put into play right now, as it looks like just about the entire field, with the exception of Lee Campbell in the 14, is going to come down pit road.
And this is where you would short circuit.
Because you don't belong out there. The rest of the field is down on pit road. What are you doing?
I've gotten an angry text from Dave Regal saying, turn left now, pit now.
I have already had to shut my microphone off and just scream to the ceiling. As we take a look, Truth Hoke here in the double nickel gets here just to the rear of the 99, as the 99 going to pull off a pit road as we sit here in P11. Truth Hoke maybe deciding to get some damage done the old-fashioned way instead of burning that fast repair, as Lee Campbell is going to be our race leader.
Yeah, here comes Brandon Sanfilippo off of pit road. And, look, Truth is a good driver. It's just he always finds himself in the right place at the wrong time. as these guys are getting lined up behind that iRacing.com pace car. And Dave, our buddy Matt wins the race to the beer stand.
No, I already started the night with one. So he doesn't get to win the race to the beer stand. I already got mine.
Dave Regal wins. It's a nice race as the winner of the race to the beer stand.
Lee Campbell going to be our race leader as he never mind, he heard me. Oh, never mind, just kidding. Thanks for making me look like a clown. I can do it all by my lonesome here. As it's going to be, when we go back green flag racing, Lee Campbell, Brandon Sanfilippo, Sean Dunaway, Kyle Westwood, and Philip Archibald, your top 5. Holloman, Kane, Hess, Teft, and Wayne Scott, your top 11. So this is going to be an interesting restart here.
What's interesting is I'm surprised that Lee Campbell let Sanfilippo have the outside. But Sean Dunaway, where did Sean Dunaway come from? He came from 10 spots down. So he was running in that 14th position. So we are getting ready to get these guys lined up as the lights are out on the iRacing.com pace car. Coming out of that turn 1-2 complex. So right now, as we get ready to go back to green, your front row is going to be Sanfilippo and Lee Campbell. Kyle Westwood is running in that P3 position, while Sean Dunaway rounds out your top 4. Blair Holloman is back to 5th, where he started from. So we come through that. We get ready to come through that 3-4 complex. The lights are out, and the iRacing.com pace car is getting ready to give the control over to Lee Campbell in that number 14 Goodyear Chevrolet Silverado.
Can confirm Matt Metler not at the beer stand. I just got back from it. Lee Campbell here going to bring us back to the green flag. Barney is up there with the green flag in his hand. The iRacing.com pace car peels on down pit road. Lee Campbell hits the Geico restart zone, drops the loud pedal, and here we go.
As Lee Campbell hits the hole shot going into turn number 1. And he's going to bring that parade down through turns 1 and 2 and down the back straightaway.
As we get restacked and re-racked here and back underway, it seems like all of a sudden Lee Campbell knows something that everybody else doesn't. But watch that high side, as now they've really come into play. It almost seems like Campbell's going to be holding off the 32 of Blair Holloman. And now just behind him, here comes the 01 of Sean Dunaway. Dunaway, as you had mentioned, started way back in 14th position, now runs in P6, while Brandon Sanfilippo just blew the doors off of Lee Campbell. And now our race leader is Brandon Sanfilippo in the number 12 Chevrolet Silverado alongside of Kyle Westwood in his Tundra. And the number 3 Lowe's Tundra now drives to the front of the race pack, bringing along with him Blair Holloman, our points leader, with 3 wins on the season already for P2.
Yeah, here we go. Look, and these guys have been on the north side of crazy all night long. And I even used your lines talking to my wife at the racetrack this weekend. I told her, I said, look, these guys are going to get cranked up to crazy going around this racetrack. And, nothing is more true here tonight as Kyle Westwood and Blair Holloman. And let's go on board with Blair so we can see just how close he is to Kyle Westwood.
And all of a sudden, it's like Blair Holloman inside his race helmet is listening to Sugarland saying, "I'm stuck like glue to you," as Blair Holloman drafts up to the rear of Kyle Westwood in the 3. As we haul it down the back chute, we can see Westwood not going to come off of that line, not going to open the door for Holloman. And, the only thing there is that if Westwood should move one way or the other, it will open the door temporarily for Holloman, but it's also going to make Holloman lose all of the momentum that he currently has coming here into turn number 1 after just crossing the start-finish line.
So let me ask you this. How far away are you from Middleton, PA?
Middletown, Pennsylvania is about a 2.5-ish hour ride.
That's not bad.
I'm going to confirm it. Let's go to Google Maps.
Google knows everything. while our statistician does that. Kyle Westwood doing Kyle Westwood things. And here comes Blair Hollerman right behind him. But don't look now, kids. Here comes Brandon Sanfilippo on the inside. And he's going to have a little help from his friends in the form of Lee Campbell. As these guys are 2x2, Noah's Ark style. And right now,
I am heinously wrong. Middletown is east of Harrisburg. I thought it was west of Harrisburg. It's only about an hour and a half here by way of the Pennsylvania Turnpike, the United States' first turnpike. If you want to take I-76. I can't imagine why it would be I-76.
I can't imagine either.
Any guess? Any guesses?
Maybe because Pennsylvania was one of the 13 colonies, and that happened to be the first interstate, and that's where they signed the Declaration of Independence.
There you go. But anyway, I genuinely believe that Middletown was west of Harrisburg, but it turns out to be east of Harrisburg. Huh. Well, you learn something new every day.
Well, hey, just like you, Kyle Westward knows a Noah guy, and he's leading the pack 2x2 to the Ark.
Noah's Ark style, they are 2x2, and if you need an Ark, I do know a guy. As we get racked and stacked here on lap number 63, it looks like everybody just kind of settling in now for this tire run. Everybody came in on lap number 53. They've got about 11 laps on these tires as we cross the line. Kyle Westward going to lead us around here out of turn 2. He's got a rearview mirror full of Blair Holloman as they're literally between both lines. They're almost able to play defense. If you see one line getting the run, drop down in front of them. If you see the other line, as long as they are sitting there, you know, they must be in concert of some persuasion. You can really make a lot of hay here while, of course, everything is cut and dry.
So if you're Kyle Hudson, a number 68 truck, do you try to go to the extreme outside and hopefully someone bites and goes with you and takes the bait and kind of helps you, or do you go split the difference and go in the middle and maybe drop down in front of Brandon Sanfilippo?
Well, it can also make it very frustrating. And I mean, you know, for some of these guys, especially after that wreck, you know, that involved the 55, you know, that can really wreck your race. It can almost take your momentum away. And you know, right now, I would say after a mistake like that, which is something that we don't see out of Truth Hoke, I would say Truth Hoke is probably more frustrated than a Keebler Elf getting demoted to Fudge Packer. As right now, Truth is way back in 12th position, now 11th. As we suddenly look back here, Kirby Wainscott deeper in the field just behind the 43 of Alex Teft. All kinds of things starting to wiggle back here as we see the 69 of Jesse Fox, of course, being cheered on by, I believe it was... there it is, by Stephanie Fox. As we see here on lap number 67, most of these guys settling in and not really trying to get aggressive. I mean, you know, you look at some of these drivers, especially up here, you know, as we get higher in the rankings. I mean, let's take a look here at Blair Holloman's stats. I mean, 7 starts on the season. He's got 3 wins on the year. And if he wasn't winning, he was in the top 5 anyway. He's got 7 top 10, 6 top 5s, 3 wins. I mean, does it get any better than that?
I mean, he's dominated this whole season here in the Truck Series. And
he has an average overall position of 4.6.
I mean, I don't think he get any better than that. I mean, he's pretty much batting 1,000.
I mean, let's not talk about batting averages. You're just gonna make me mad. But but his 3 wins were a hat trick right in a row: Darlington, Martinsville, and Michigan. And this racetrack, a lot like Michigan. So you know that at least Darlington and Martinsville are animals in their own right. But this racetrack here has a lot of the hallmarks that Michigan International Speedway has. So if you're going to come down here to Hot Atlanta, you better be ready to start duking it out here, especially with the names that are starting to float toward the top of this pile. Andrew Teft here in the 98, now getting pushed around by Brandon Sanfilippo in the 12. And I feel like I call those names a lot in the Cup Series, and here it seems to be no different in the trucks.
Yeah, it's no different. And, you know, the usual suspects, these guys race very different tracks here. As, you know, tomorrow night with Angel Santiago and Troy Thomas, these guys will be in the hills of in the Pocono Mountains.
Oh, is that next on the schedule?
That is tomorrow night on the Racers Elite Xfinity Series.
Just kidding. I knew that.
So, and then, like and as I mentioned earlier, on Thursday night, they're going road course racing, which will get your blood to boil, and that's a very technical track. I actually made laps on there. And, unfortunately, I won't be able to get Dave to short circuit because I will be away on assignment.
Yeah, Detroit Grand Prix is going to be 45 laps. Now, the only upside to that is that there are no caution flags. So each of those laps going to be, green flag from start to finish, which is fabulous, my opinion. But, Thursday, of course, this week, as you had mentioned, we go to the Detroit Grand Prix at Belle Isle. And then, of course, we go to Dover Motor Speedway and Homestead, Miami. Just 3 races left in the Cup Series before the chase begins at Auto Club.
Yeah, and I'm right now. I think I'm sitting 15th, 16th in points.
Yeah, you're fixed, all right. Of course, after tonight in the Truck Series, we only have 2 more races before the chase start here, and of course, again mixing in the road course, Canadian Tire next week here on Tuesday night. Then the following week we go to Nashville Super Speedway, and then the Trucks playoff starts at Lucas Oil Speedway at IRP. And I'm telling you right now, that place is incredible. I just watched. I mean, don't get me wrong; it turned into a caution disaster, a festival, if you will, in the SNN Truck Series. But 120 laps, I feel like that's stomachable for a lot of these drivers as they boogie around this piece.
So you know what my saying is on the short tracks. A lot of bent sheet metal and hurt feelings.
Yeah, I would say hurt feelings is definitely the name of the game.
I mean, how many drivers over in SNN have deleted each other off the Christmas card list?
I can't believe they didn't delete me off the Christmas card list after the trash I started talking.
You're never getting deleted off my Christmas card list.
Thank goodness I don't even check the mail for Christmas cards. If somebody asks me for my address and I know that it's somewhere in and around October or November, I suddenly give them the neighbor's address.
Well,
I've been signing petitions with my best friend's name for 15 years.
Goodness gracious. I tell you what, Dave, now that as we approach August, the Starbucks will have the lines wrapped around the building because it's almost pumpkin spice season.
Good. Alert the suburban white girls. As they line up at Starbucks, near and far, the lines out of Dunkin' Donuts will stretch all the way from the parking lot of the grocery store to the mini mall down the street. It's going to be horrific.
Here comes Andrew Tufton at number 98 Road Ranger Ford F-150, modeled after, I believe that was, who drove that truck last year in the Truck Series? I think it was Raja Karuth.
Sure it was. You act like I know.
You painted much about you love NASCAR, and there's 2 trucks in the field. One, it is the Kinsley Smith truck, and that 15 truck takes you way back to DEI days. Who happens to drive for Driving Extreme. And then the other truck, if it had the Dale Jr. look-alike, I think you could stomach that one.
I'm not upset with it. I'm not. This number 8 Bud car, I was a confused child once upon a time.
I still am a confused child once upon a time. As we come back to the front, here comes Andrew Tuft, and he's got Kinsley Smith in tow. And right now, Kyle Westward is under attack, and he can't do anything about it as the inside line has more momentum than the outside line.
Yeah, they're getting all nice and wound up here on the high side. We can see Westwood leading just ahead of the 32 of Holloman. Holloman so far having a good night tonight as now right in front of us. We can see Teft now having to muscle his way up here. His brother buried deep in the standings while the 15 of Kensley Smith shoves him down the backstretch. You can see that orange and black number 43 driven by Alex Teft. But right now we have a four-way battle for the lead, as just outside of that battle is Brandon Sanfilippo in the 12 in 5th position.
Yeah, he says, hey, what about me, guys? I'm coming. And he's going to try to bring Sean Dunaway with him.
Look, you bring as many friends as you can to the party and see what happens.
Well, usually we have drivers that bail on the outside line and go to the inside line, but Andrew Teft did the exact opposite and went to the outside line and bailed on Kinsley Smith.
Yeah, that's not very helpful.
And now he's going to go back to the inside.
Whoa, there they go, wrecking on the front stretch, but we managed to keep it together. I think that was Troy Thomas in the 8. No.
Nope, that would be...
it was black and green. We stay green flag racing here on lap number 82. Race radio getting a little chippy right now as this four-truck breakaway, if you will, now leads just in front of Sanfilippo. And you have to imagine that Sanfilippo is going into lion pounce mode. He's going to hide back here. He's going to hold himself just close enough to Kensley Smith so he doesn't lose that pack. But if somebody should make a mistake here in that lead four-car, grouping, that's going to be when Sanfilippo makes his move. And we see the 0-1 of Sean Dunaway in that Gatorade throwback. Whoa! Sling it down to the low side just in front of Sanfilippo. Now all of a sudden he said, look, if somebody's going to make a mess, I'm going to clean up after it and win out here between you and I, as now we still look from behind at these four drivers, Westwood, Teft, Holloman, and Smith, as they try to decide who's it going to be on the podium tonight here with just about 22 to go.
22 laps to go, and these guys are almost like jet planes in the gymnasium, as we got a four-truck battle. Throw a blanket over them, and these guys are not able to gap from Sean Dunaway.
And they will not be put to bed early this evening, that's for sure, as they duke it out here on lap 84. All of a sudden, Westwood, your race leader, having to contend right now with the 32 of Holloman. Now, Holloman runs behind the 3, and he's trying to find some kind of clean air, maybe, cool down that engine, as he was just attached to the rear bumper. And now, Andrew Teft making a run at the lead. He goes side by side with Westwood, and here comes Hope Valley, Rhode Island's very own Andrew Teft, the chief cook and bottle washer here in the Racers Elite Truck Series.
And the fans of Atlanta are going crazy watching this battle right now, as Sean Merriman can actually play a spoiler-type role as he's pushing that outside line for all it's worth, getting Westwood up to the front. Here comes.
Working here with now officially 20 laps to go, 19 at the line. Here we go. Andrew Teft, your race leader, just ahead of Kensley Smith and Kyle Westwood. Westwood getting credit right now for being P2, but Kensley Smith has a snoot full of the exhaust pipe of Andrew Teft.
Snoot. What's a snoot?
You know what a snoot is?
Oh.
Well, folks, I'm working on breaking my partner. He's easier than, never mind. Easier than a $2 hooker on Thursdays.
Oh, boy. Little Archibald has registered as crashed. And let's go and take a look and see what the heck happened there.
This is our neighbor from the north, Archibald, as he gets ready to come down here onto pit road. And he's passing the commit cone from the exit of pit road and locks him up. He may have had some kind of a hardware failure that caused him to have to get out of the way.
Look, I have a
The 98 of Andrew Teft is getting ready to come on down pit road. This will be the money stop as we go back live.
It
looks like it's going to be Teft, Smith, Holloman at minimum to come on down pit road. And right now we look to the high side. There's Brandon Sanfilippo looking to see if he can get anybody to come down, and Teft is going to...
Watch.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Okay, he made it. Whew. Now it's going to be Holloman, Teft, Westwood, Dunaway, Kane, Teft, Yost, Wayne Scott, and Rowan Lloyd coming down pit road as Woodward, Thomas, and Lloyd all run off of pit road. Holloman going to slide into his box. Dunaway does it first, and here's Kensley Smith, your new race leader, door handle to door handle with Brandon Sanfilippo in the 12.
Who just got one of his lap backs as Kensley Smith is going to come on down pit road and get his service.
Oh, the 68 gets out of shape. That's Kyle Hess going into nose first into the inside barrier here at the entry to pit road. So Smith, Sanfilippo, and Hess all coming down together as Dennis Kane scurries off of pit road.
And that is one of those deals where you can't afford a mistake coming on the pit road. But guess who's going to be leading this race when they come back around? You said Blair.
if all things happen right.
I was going to say, if you guessed Blair Holloman, you were right.
Well, Kensley Smith comes down pit road. He's going to roll off, and if he can get a good head of steam here, that's going to allow Blair Holloman to get right behind him. And Holloman, wow. Oh, boy. Whoa.
Take it easy there, guys. There's only 15 laps to go.
Well, that's Staying in the Tide ride brought to you by Code Brown. The question is, what can Brown do for you? Well, right now it covers the staining. Kensley Smith just muscled his way up there and wiggled his butt right in the face of Blair Holloman.
He says, take that.
He said, that's mine. That's mine. Now, the interesting thing here, if we can go back to Andrew Teft, who runs P3 right now, Teft is going to get a nice little grouping behind him from Sean Dunaway and his brother, Alex Teft, both of them out of Hope Valley, Rhode Island. The thing is, can these guys, do we have enough time for these guys to catch Kensley Smith and Blair Holloman, or does Andrew Teft settle for P3?
Well, if you're Andrew Teft, the sands of the hourglass are running out very, very quickly. And this is what this racing league produces as drama, and clean racing. And these guys pride themselves on being safe.
And right you are. I mean, we've only had, one real incident here on the racetrack. Everything else has stayed green all night long. And with 12 laps to go, these guys to have this few amount of cautions is just the side of incredible. As we go on board here with Andrew Teft, let's hit that gearbox cam and take a look out the rearview mirror. And we can see Sean Dunaway here getting ready to whack the 98 right in the rear as they're trying to get themselves caught up to Blair Holloman and Kensley Smith. And right now, Smith and Holloman not going to have any of it, is that they're nearly 3 seconds ahead of Teft and Dunaway, as Dunaway is doing everything he can to see how much faster he can make Teft. But going on board now with Kyle Westwood in the 3, if we take a look right out the nose of the 3, we can see all of a sudden this momentum starting to build as they're now going to claw their way past Andrew Teft, and they can just make out Holloman and Smith as they get ready to cross the start-finish line, while Kyle Westwood muscles back here with the rest of this pack with 10 laps to go.
Just a bit outside.
Thanks, Harry.
Right now, there's Sean Dunaway, and you can see him close up on that back bumper, and it's almost like he runs out the straightaway to get that bump draft in there.
And as we take a look here, it seems like Sean Dunaway now looks to the inside of Brandon Sanfilippo. We can see the 3 just over top of him, but Dunaway at 181 miles an hour, he's not about to burp that throttle. You can see, though, that he's got a little bit more throttle to use, which means he's got a little bit more horsepower to unleash as now he looks to the inside of Andrew Teft.
Yeah, now Andrew Teft goes to the high line in front of Kyle Westwood. And it seems like Westwood and Teft seem to work well together, as Teft's going to bail to the inside. Wow. And I wonder if it's because Sean Dunaway basically cools his motor off and can get that run back up to the back bumper. As we watch it here, there's the bump. And it's almost, as, whoa, Sean Dunaway cracked the throttle, and Sanfilippo and Holloman are getting just a little bit bigger as we're going to go to Blair Holloman on the gearbox cam, and you can see from the back deck lid that that whole group is getting just a little bit bigger inch by inch.
Yeah, 7 laps to go, and I'll tell you what we're going to hear if Kyle Westwood doesn't manage to get up here to Blair Holloman. He's going to say, 2 more laps, and I would have been up there battling it out. It's always we could use 1 or 2 more laps in these races. It seems like that's like the default answer for how you wind up finishing third.
Yeah, I mean, 1 more lap. We got about a half a dozen laps to go here. And we're going to come back out to the wider picture. So there is the eyeball test right there from Holloman to Westwood. And these guys are still going at it like they got nothing to lose. As Kinsley Smith is going to come down and get 5 to go. 5 phalanges in the air for Kinsley Smith.
Kinsley Smith leads us with 5 laps to go right now, and it seems like he thinks he's unstoppable, and quite frankly, I might have to side with that one. As, right now, Kinsley Smith leading the rest of that group by about 1.4 seconds back to Westwood, and it's about 1.3 now. We are starting to see some of that melt away, but with 5 to go, I don't think we've got enough, barring a late caution here.
I mean, we're gonna have something spectacular go on here. I'm feeling a vibe. I felt one Saturday too. I'm feeling a vibe as Brandon Sanfilippo is gonna make the move to the inside, and Kyle Westwood has Andrew Tuft behind him as we're getting ready to come to 3 to go.
Kinsley Smith, Blair Holloman, and Kyle Westwood. 1, 2, 3 they go. Kyle Westwood here in the 3, just ahead of Andrew Tuft. We get ready to cross the start-finish line here with 3 to go for Westwood. And as they come into turn number 1, it looks like it's going to remain Kinsley Smith up atop the pile while Blair Holloman starts to get ready to peek around and find a way to get past Kinsley Smith.
We're coming to the popsicle sticks, Dave, and boy, if someone needs a caution right now, it's Kyle Westwood, as we got popsicle sticks in the air.
The popsicle sticks go in the air. We're 2 laps to go. Kinsley Smith leads Blair Holloman now by just an eyelash right now, as Blair Holloman in the 32 follows the 15. They've got Kyle Westwood about 0.6 of a second back there. He's not going to be much of a factor. He's got to be able to hold off Brandon Sanfilippo in the 12. So right now the battle here is going to be for the lead as Kinsley Smith leads Blair Holloman. Holloman looks to the high side, the low side, can't find his way down. The popsicle sticks go down. The white flag is in the air, and we're racing back to checkers.
No chance at the Racers lead overtime here tonight. But here comes Kyle Westwood in that number 3 with a full head of steam as they rocket down the back straightaway. Does Kyle Westwood have enough left in the tank? Did he find something? Here he comes. Off of turn number 4.
Westwood looks to the inside, goes side by side with Kinsley Smith. It's going to be close here at the line. They nearly touch coming into the quad oval. And from third position to win the race is Kyle Westwood in the 3. Kyle Westwood, Kinsley Smith, and Brandon Sanfilippo make up your podium as Kyle Westwood just came from nowhere and brought home the checkered flag in a surprise finish here at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
And that is what this track produces night in and night out. When these guys come on this track, I'm telling you, something spectacular will happen almost every single time. But Kyle Westwood, nonetheless, is going to pick up the win. Kinsley Smith is going to get second, and Brandon Sanfilippo will round out your podium. As you know, I told you, Dave, something was vibing with me.
See, when you said something was vibing, I was afraid we were going to have to call paramedics.
I mean, there's that too.
as I get these guys moved on up here into the waiting room, looking for Brandon Sanfilippo. Yet there he is.
He's not far behind Kinsley Smith, so it's driving extreme. But
And
Dave,
I believe right now we're going to have Kyle Westwood, driver of the number 3, in a surprise finish here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Hey, Kyle, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I do. How's it going, Dave?
Buddy, listen, I'm telling you right now, I'm impressed as we get your driver information up there. Obviously, bringing one home to the 610. I'm assuming that you went out there and maybe got some food over at the Kutztown Folk Festival a week ago, and that was the fuel that got you to the checkered flag.
Yeah, that's good to know somebody else is from Kutztown, or at least has heard of it before.
Buddy, I grew up in Burnville. We're not that far apart.
Oh, no, not at all. That's awesome. But yeah, I was there. I go every year. I'd like to say that contributed to tonight, but I mean, you never know. I guess it's those turkey legs.
It's either the turkey legs or the fresh roasted ox.
Oh, yeah, one of those.
No, I mean, here's the thing. We watched you here at the end of this race, and it was impressive. I mean, I was starting to look, and I said to Alan here on the air, usually what we hear from the guys who are running in third position, where if I just had one more lap, or if I just had 2 more laps, but you wind up coming home with the win instead of just, hopes and dreams and those things crushed. How did you get through this last lap of the race?
To be honest, I think it was just perfect timing. When we came to 2 to go, I didn't think I was going to get there. I thought I was going to have to settle for third, but I got such a run down the backstretch on the last lap. Like I said, it was just great timing. I just got there at the exact moment I needed to. Stuck it on the bottom, didn't think it was going to be enough to pass the 2. But luckily, I believe it was Andrew got caught up in that exact moment and was able to kind of give me that extra momentum that I needed to the line.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I've noticed now, of course, I get to call the Racers Elite Cup Series on a Thursday. Andrew Teft is probably the one person, one of the 2 or 3 people on these tracks that I would want to see in the rearview mirror, especially at a track like Atlanta. I mean, you could not have had a better partner.
That's good to know. Like I'm new over here, so I'm still kind of trying to learn how I can race around these guys or who I can race clean. Well, I race everybody clean. I mean, like who to race, or who can race me clean, I guess I should say. So, I mean, Andrew, he and I have, we had a few interactions in this race, and I have nothing but good things to say about the guy. He was very clean. We had a lot of side-by-side battles, and yeah, it was fun.
Absolutely. Well, listen, before we cut you loose, besides Burke's Packing's garlic ring bologna, who else do you need to thank, and who else helps you get it done here on the 3 team?
Well, I want to thank, first of all, Blair Holloman for inviting me over here. He and I race in a few other leagues on multiple nights of the week. So he told me about these guys over here. So I want to thank him for introducing me. And, of course, I want to thank you guys for putting on a great show.
All right, brother. Congratulations. We'll see you next week.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
And, Alan, I believe you have with you down on pit road Kensley Smith, driver of the number 15.
And Kinsley, second place finish tonight. Blair Holloman came out of nowhere to score that win, or Kyle Westwood came out of nowhere to get that win from you. Take us through that last lap, and what were you thinking whenever you seen that 3 truck coming up in your rearview mirror?
Well, I couldn't really see him because Blair was behind me. But I knew it was coming. Just watching the time dwindle down. Coming to that last lap, I knew there was going to be a battle. I just had to decide if I was going to stick with Blair or just cut to the bottom in front of him. I decided to stick with Blair, which Blair was pushing real good. So I believe if I would have probably cut to the bottom, I'd probably be first. But it is what it is. It happens, and we move on to the next one.
Well, almost a 3-second lead at one point, but looking ahead, we go, next Tuesday night, we're at Canadian Tire Park as we race the road course. What's gonna be your approach as we start going road racing next week?
Practice. I'm not typically a road race guy, but I mean, if I get enough practice in, I'm pretty sure I could come out with a top 10 in it. So just practice, practice, practice.
Well, look, before we get you out of here, is there anybody that you'd like to thank to help get you here tonight?
Of course, my daughter, always watching and loves watching me do this. So, of course, her, and then you guys for putting on the broadcast, and my teammates at Driving Extreme Inc. Brandon, I only had one teammate in here tonight, San Filippo. So, and then of course Andrew for putting on the league for us.
Well, look, man, once again, congratulations on that PT run, and we'll see you next week at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Back up to you in the booth, Dave.
Thank you.
Well, and last but certainly not least, a driver that I'm used to talking to in the Cup Series finishes P3 tonight here. Hey, Brandon, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Hey, man, listen, great finish tonight. I mean, you came along with Kyle here toward the end, and I really thought you guys were going to try to put, the fear of God into Kensley Smith. Of course, you couldn't get around him here at the very end, but how does it feel to finish P3 and at least get up here onto the podium after such a hard-fought race?
Oh man, it really was a hard, good race. Really, really fun. Yeah, they took 2 tires. I believe the rest of us in the back there took 4. So, with only 2 of them plus the 2 tires, we knew it was a matter of time. We're just hoping that we'd have at least a half a lap to get past them, but it came down to that final turn. So, wish I could have been behind Kensley, gave him a big push to take the win, but I sneaked in there behind Westwood to get third. So I'll definitely take it.
Yeah, third is definitely better than 20th. I mean, we can go that far for sure. I mean, you qualified P4, you get here into P3. Now, next week we head to Canadian Tire. What are you thinking about as we get ready to go road course racing?
Did average there, I think, last time as far as my lap times. A couple times I went off the track. I think that's what messed me up. But, I'll probably just take it easy that race. Won't really get into it, and then just focus really on the following races and then playoffs.
All right, man. Well, listen, before we cut you loose, who helps you get it done on the 12 machine, and who do you need to thank for tonight?
All my friends and family for watching. Appreciate all you guys out there. Driving Extreme Incorporated team. Great teamwork. So much fun to race with. Andrew Teff for putting on the league, all the drivers in the league. This was just an awesome show, awesome race, I thought, tonight. You guys for putting on the broadcast, and San Filippo Solutions.
All right, brother man, congratulations. We'll see you next week at Canadian Tire.
All right, appreciate it.
Well, Alan, another one in the books here in the Racers Elite Truck Series, and what a show they put on tonight.
Yeah, true, absolutely. As we go ahead and take a look at the rundown here, Kyle Westwood is going to walk away victorious here in that number 3 truck as he erased a 13, almost a 3-second lead that Kinsley Smith had. Kinsley Smith is going to bring home P3, and rounding out the podium will be Brandon Sanfilippo. While Blair Holloman will bring it home 4th, and rounding out your top 5 will be Andrew Tuft. Sean Dunaway, Rowan Lloyd, and Robert Yost Jr. will be 6th, 7th, and 8th. 9th will go to Alex Tuft. Troy Thomas will round out your top 10.
The rest of the best is Kirby Wainscott in the finger-licking good KFC number 10 Toyota Tundra. He's followed by Trevor Woodward in 12th position. 13th goes to Lee Campbell, while Dennis Kane comes home in 14th. Tyler Smith brings the double natural Toyota Tundra home in 15th, with Kyle Hess in 16th. Sean Merriman and Jesse Fox come home 17th and 18th, while Philip Archibald and Truth Hoke come home in 19th and 20th. And rounding out the field after just 38 laps is Matt Metler, our teammate here at Sim Racing Media, bringing up the rest of the field. And somebody had to do it, and unfortunately tonight it was Matt. But listen, I'll tell you what, to make the cameo appearance here in the broadcast booth for the Racers Elite Truck Series, I am thrilled to bring this one to a close.
Me too. And, to have a race go that clean for that long says a lot about this league. But before we get out of here, Dave, we are going to end up with at Canadian Tire next week. We're going to go your favorite road racing. But Dave, let's close this thing out and get out of here.
Well, folks, we want to thank you for joining us and making us a part of your evening. We want to thank you for welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. And tomorrow and every day, as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.